Welcome to Dolly Talk. This is Dolly. How is everybody doing? All right, we have more of the Rake murder trial, more of the friend's testimony today. Hey, Maddie. Oh, good, it is working when the stream is live. Okay, so hope everyone's doing well today. Hey, Johnny, how are you? Yes. Okay, so we had the friend who was kind of in everybody's business. She's still testifying.
So when someone has very heavy menstruation,
Whoa.
a lot of times, especially if they become anemic, they will go in with, it's almost kind of like a water bottle, and they heat up the uterine lining, and it kind of burns that lining off so that they don't have those heavy periods anymore. There's no nerve endings in the uterus, so it's not painful. But
Terry, when did you have that same procedure done, if you
I
remember?
had it done probably about 5 years prior to Amy having hers done, or before Amy had hers done.
And what was your recovery like?
I had no problems. I went back to work within the next day or two, and I had no problems with it at all.
Now, Terry, you indicated that some of these conversations with both Amy and Todd were by way of text message. Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Were all of these conversations with either of them or both of them only text message, or were they in other forms as well?
Some were phone calls, and some were in person. I never met in person with Todd. Todd was either through text or phone calls.
And did you at some point hand over some of those text messages to the police?
I did.
Do you have, you've prior to today looked at those text messages?
I did.
Do those text messages entail every conversation you've testified about?
No.
And why not?
I had gotten a new phone, and so I wasn't quite used to my new phone, so I would accidentally delete things. Sometimes if I became irritated, I would just delete a text. And I did make Travis aware that I had probably deleted some text messages, and I said, if you need to go in my US Cellular and look those up or whatever you need to do, you're welcome to. But I did delete some of those messages.
And is Travis Hemaseth?
Yes.
One of the investigators in this
Yes.
case? Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Terry, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 66, Group Exhibit. If you could just briefly look through all of those pictures.
Okay.
There's some on the back, too.
Okay. They look familiar.
And Terry, in that group exhibit, State's Exhibit 66, are those screenshots of the text messages that you tendered to the Delaware County Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
And do they appear to be true and accurate copies of the messages that you gave to those officers?
They are.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that State's Group Exhibit 66 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
66 is admitted.
And at this time, Your Honor, I would ask permission to publish to the jury and ask some additional questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Terry, I'm showing you one of the first messages. I believe it's the first message in your pack. It indicates, you can either see it up on the screen.
I can see it.
I think you have them in front of you. And it indicates that at the bottom there, you and Amy on July 26, 2018 had a conversation.
Yes.
And this is Amy's number in your phone, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that Amy Mullis was Amy Mullis in your phone?
Yes.
And I believe Todd was Todd in your phone?
Yes.
And in this message at the bottom there, what kind of information are you and Amy exchanging?
At the bottom?
Yes.
That's when she asked me if we could talk because she was in trouble.
And I'm going to go to the next page. And what does this page show here?
That was when her grandma had passed away, and she was at her grandma's.
And at the bottom there in the left-hand corner in the gray area, is that Amy's response to you?
Yes.
And can you just summarize there what she's talking about?
She was talking about their relationship. They hadn't been intimate for a very long time. Todd was sleeping out in the living room. So I think she went to talk to him a little bit about, she didn't tell him about the affair, but just talked to them about their marriage.
And I'll go to the next page here. In the middle there, I know that the top part of the gray part continues your conversation from the prior page. In the yellow area, would it be fair to say the yellow area is your responses to
Yes.
Amy? And in that area, who are you talking about when you're talking about Amy's friend?
Jerry.
And that's the person she was having the affair with?
Yes,
And you're also
Naughty.
indicating to her that you think she should talk to Todd.
I did.
And then at the bottom there in the gray is Amy's response to you.
Yes.
A dirty woman.
And on the next page, I think you're following along with the exhibits in front of you. I know the jury can see for themselves and they'll be able to look at these, but can you, on this page, are you continuing to talk about Amy and her relationship with Jerry?
Yes.
And then I'm going to go to the next page. And at the bottom there, I believe it indicates Friday, August 3rd, 2018.
Okay.
Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And underneath that is a response or a question to you from Amy, has Todd texted you anymore?
Yes.
And what is Amy referring to there?
I had told Amy that I had been talking to Todd, and she asked if he had texted me anymore recently, so I said no.
And at the bottom there, after you say no, what does Amy start talking to you about?
Todd had called Jerry's wife at the very beginning before I even started talking to him and asked if they were having an affair, or if she thought Jerry and Amy were having an affair. I believe she said that their marriage, she felt like their marriage was fine. At this point, Todd called her again and asked her again if everything was okay in their marriage.
And I believe that part of the conversation carries on to the next page. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you guys are still talking about her relationship with Jerry. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then I'll just go to the next page here. And is this one, you and Amy, talking about meeting for lunch and also continuing to talk about her relationship with Jerry?
Yes. This was after the state fair.
And then I'll go to the next page. I think that this is just a continuation of some of your conversations. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I'll go to the next page. At the bottom of this page,
Yes.
is there a conversation that talks about Todd?
Yes.
And what's the nature of that conversation? What's the nature of that conversation?
We had gone to lunch together, and after lunch, Amy texted me that if Todd happened to ask what time she left, I believe, yes, then she said to tell him around 1.
And do you know why she told you that?
Because she was meeting with Jerry.
And that conversation carries to the next page as well.
Yes. And I did not answer her that I would say that to Todd because I felt like I needed to be.
Yeah, I've seen it before in the Rust shooting. Detective Hancock, or Hooters Hancock, she just took actual photos of every single screen. Like, she just flicked through the phones and took a screenshot of all the texts. And then, like, there's like 400 photos of all the text messages. I'm guessing it's done that way so it's harder or more difficult to Photoshop. And they can't as easily add new ones in. But it is kind of weird.
As honest with him as I could, and I wasn't going to cover for her.
And I'll go here to the
They
next
all
page.
float down here.
And in the middle of this page there, in the gray area where Amy is talking to you, can you just explain what that conversation's about?
That conversation is after the trauma conference, when I sent her a text and said, give me a call. And then I told her about the rumors being out.
And then your conversation is talking about those rumors and how she's planning on telling Todd about them?
Yes.
I'll go to the next page here. And I know I'm asking you to kind of quickly look at them, but what's a summary of these text messages?
This is where she had talked to Todd about the rumors, and I think she really wanted him to believe they were just rumors, and that she had told him about the rumors and who had been saying certain things.
And then if I go to the next page, at the top there, what is Amy talking about?
We had talked a lot about if she was going to leave, and I felt like he was being a player, and I told her that, and he would tell her, you know, because Amy's clothes came from Goodwill and things like that, and he would say things to her like, wow, Amy, when we're together, we're going to burn all your Goodwill clothes and go get you a beautiful wardrobe. And so I kept asking her if he was really going to leave his wife or not. And she felt like possibly so, but she was also to the point where she felt like she was strong enough to leave on her own if that was the case. It was not so much anymore she would leave for him, but she would leave on her own. She said she was quietly looking for jobs and somewhere to live.
And if I go to the next page, are you carrying on this conversation?
Yes. She had talked about how Todd was being Mr. Super Dad and all of a sudden showing a lot of interest in the kids. And I said, well, maybe, you know, maybe he's really trying. Maybe he wants to be a better dad. And she said, you know, really, how long is it going to last?
Oh, he wants to be a better
And I'll go to
dad.
the next page here. And I know she sent a picture of a Coke bottle. At the bottom, you guys are talking about getting together again.
Yes.
And on the next page, I believe it's just also you guys talking about getting together and when you're going to get lunch again.
Yes.
And if I go to the next page here, just summarize this. I think it's the same type of thing.
We were trying to get together, and we had planned on going for lunch, and I had taken a transfer for the hospital to, I don't remember, it was like somewhere clear on the other side of the state, Carroll or somewhere. And I was very tired, so I said I really didn't feel like going out for lunch. And then she thought about just bringing something over and coming to my house.
And I'll go to the next page here. And at the top there in the gray, on the left, the first full gray message, what is Amy talking about there?
She said she had been sick with a cold. She kind of understood how I felt, and she didn't get out of bed much the day before because she wasn't feeling very well.
And she's talking about being at the hospital with her uncle.
Yes.
I'll go to the next page. And I believe this is the text where you're saying, I know you described this in your testimony, where you tell her to pick something up and come on over so you guys
Yes.
can talk. Is that yes? And again, I think this is just a continuation of that conversation. Does that seem right?
Yes.
And on the next page, I think the top half is you guys continuing that conversation.
Yes.
And the bottom half, which indicates Monday, October 15th, 2018, Amy sends you a text, "Can you talk?"
Damn it.
Yeah.
And that's when, I think you indicated earlier, you told her, "Give me some time and then we can talk."
Yes, I did.
And on the next page, you send Amy a message.
This was after our conversation on the phone.
And what are you talking about here on the top right corner in the yellow, your response to Amy?
This was after she had called, and she was so upset because Elaine did not want to give her son, and she was upset and crying. And after I thought about it, I'm like, this is kind of how their relationship had always been. Elaine's kind of the matriarch of the family, and is very controlling. And so I answered back to her this, because I thought it was terrible that she suggested they just tie her uncle to the bed. And then after that,
Kinky.
Amy stopped at the house.
And so these conversations are after, I'm sorry, after you talk on the phone, but before Amy stops over.
Yes.
And then at the bottom there is, it refers to Tuesday, October 30th, 2018.
Yes.
And Amy sends you another message, "Can you talk? Won't take long."
Yes.
And I'll go to the next page. And then I think you're again talking at the top about you being home and you can talk.
Yes.
And then at the bottom, what are you guys talking about there on the bottom? After November 7th, 2018, I apologize.
About the cramping,
Yes.
she's talking about, I asked her how her ablation went. I was in Des Moines for another conference at that time, so I sent her a text and said, "Hey, how did the ablation go?" And that was her response, that it went very well. She was cramping a little bit, and she was just going to chill that day.
And then on the next page, I know you indicated that you had an ablation yourself.
Yes.
And are you talking to her about your experience with your ablation?
Yes.
And she responds to you.
Yes, she did.
And then on the next page, did she send you a picture?
She sent me a picture of her IV site because she had had a lot of bruising. And being as I started a lot of IVs and stuff in my career, that she knew I would find that kind of amusing because she did bruise pretty good.
And it indicates there that that was Friday, November 9th.
Yes.
Was that the last time that Amy sent you any type of message?
Yes.
And was that the last time that you spoke to Amy?
Yes.
And that was by way of text message?
Yes.
Now, you also indicated that there were some text messages that you gave to the police that you had with Todd.
Yes.
You can go to the next one, please.
Ablution or ablation?
And I guess now it shifts and Todd's messages are in gray. Does that seem fair to
Yes.
say? And your responses are in yellow.
Correct.
And looking at this text message, what is Todd saying to you at the beginning on August 6, 2018?
He had been telling me about Amy not sleeping, being short-fused with him and the children, that he was kind of staying away from her because of her being moody.
And then on the next page, your message is with Todd. What is he indicating to you here in that top gray message?
He said he was looking up what could be wrong with her, why she was so moody, why she seemed depressed, and he thought maybe it was premenopause. He sounded like her symptoms. So I encouraged him to keep trying.
And you say, good for you, keep trying.
Yes.
And Todd does respond to you and says, thanks for the support. I've got
Yes.
nothing to lose. And then if you go to the next page,
God damn it,
you're
Mavka.
continuing to talk to Todd a little bit about this.
Yes.
And he indicates to you, I'll keep at it, but she doesn't make it easy.
Yes.
And then if you could just summarize, because I know that's kind of a long message there in the bottom left, what you guys are talking about there.
He was talking, he was saying that Amy was just laying around, she was being lazy, she wasn't doing things, she wasn't, taking care of the lawn, she wasn't taking care of the home, she wasn't, is going and doing things with the pork producers. I think at this time she was probably doing a lot of stuff with Taylor and her gymnastics, and that she was getting massages, she was doing all kinds of other things, but not doing her responsibilities on the farm.
And I'll go to the next page here. I think the top part continues that conversation that you just described.
Yes,
And then your response is in summary, you're trying to encourage him to hang out with Amy and do things with Amy.
yes. And that's when I encouraged him to go to the fair.
And this is when you indicated that you were kind of hoping he would find out about the
Yes.
affair. And what is Todd's response when you're kind of encouraging him to go to the fair?
His response basically was that she's going to be busy, and he didn't feel like she wanted him there anyway.
And then I'll go to the next page. And again, that top conversation kind of continues from the one before.
Correct.
And at the bottom there, I believe that's another text from Todd to you.
Yes, it is.
And what is that referring to?
It was after Amy and I had gone to lunch, and he said she seemed like she was in a better mood when she got home.
Then I'll go to the next page. And I know that your response after that conversation is, I just want you guys to figure things out.
Yes.
Aw.
And then at the bottom there, Todd is responding to you about your lunch, I believe.
Yes, he is.
I'll go to the next page. No, this is Thursday, August 30th, 2018, and there's a long gray message that was from Todd. What is Todd talking to you about in this message?
He is talking about, after I had told Amy about the rumors being out, so he is talking about her after she told him. He said suddenly she was nice to him. And he was wondering how they got out, how they started. He said he felt like it was weird since he only talked to one guy about it, and Amy's stepdad. And that he did tell me about the problems. He said that she cried a lot that night, and said she should leave because we're better off without her.
Now, in this text message, it indicates, I guess I did tell you about text problem.
Yes.
Do you know what Todd is referring to in that part?
What I felt like he was referring to is that he had told me I knew about what was going on, and I think he felt like maybe I had said something to someone.
And when he says text problem, did you think he meant the 128 text messages?
Yes.
He told you that were between Amy and Jerry.
Yes.
And I'll go to the next page. And at the top there, Todd is indicating to you that things are pretty good. Is that true?
That day was
I'm sorry,
was
on a good note, most of today was good.
Yes.
And you indicate she needs some counseling, Todd, for her own sake.
Yes.
And why did you respond with that message?
Because Amy was when I talked to her, didn't know what she was going to do, didn't know how to go on with her life as far as when she left, if she was going to be with Jerry, if she was going to be on her own. And I felt like this was maybe a way she needed to talk to someone out of the situation and maybe figure out I said to her, you need to figure this out without Jerry, to figure out what is going on with you, that you can get your life together first before you have a relationship. The suggestion to Todd was, Amy did need to go see someone. I meant it as so she could get on with her life and figure things out.
And then Todd responds to you that he thinks it would be hard to get her into counseling.
Yes.
And I'll go to the next page.
Yes.
Ooh, let me. Now, in this text message at the top, you and Todd are talking about a conversation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then in the middle there, underneath where it says 8 p.m., there's a text message to you from Todd. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is that text message?
This is referring to the rumors being out and who was saying them.
Because at the top, you're talking about the rumors.
Yes.
And when you say rumors, what rumors is that?
The rumor I had heard at the conference about, and it was out in the community, that Amy was having an affair.
And you respond, it doesn't really matter who said it. Weird, they are out there.
Yes, because they were both Todd and Amy were very focused on who said who I heard it from.
And Todd responded to you, either weird or true, and everyone is lying to me.
Yes.
And then I know at the bottom there, you then send Todd a text after you hear of Amy's death.
Right.
Anything else? Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, cross-examination.
Ma'am, I just wanted,
I want to make sure I understand the history of you and your relationship with Amy and Todd, okay?
Okay?
You said you met Amy when you were both working at the Manchester Hospital about 2006,
I believe so, yes.
and you began to not only have a working relationship, a friendly relationship, but also a social one,
Yes.
including houseboats and golfs and lunches and so forth.
Correct.
How long after you met Amy at the Manchester Hospital did you then change employment situations?
Probably within a year, 6 months to a year.
And I believe you said you associated with the hospital in Iowa City?
It was a ambulance service in Iowa City.
And then subsequently to St. Luke's?
Correct.
Okay. How long were you at this ambulance service in Iowa City, and when would you have started working at St. Luke's approximately?
I started at St. Luke's in August of 2007.
Okay. And that's still a position that you hold, or at least you still work for St. Luke's in some degree?
Yes.
And you said 2007.
Correct.
After you changed from Manchester Hospital to the ambulance service and then to St. Luke's, how was your relationship with Amy then?
We still remain very good friends.
Okay. And were you still living in Earlville?
No, I was living in Manchester at that time.
Okay. Even though you were working for this ambulance service in Iowa City?
Yes, I went to the ambulance service in Iowa City because they did fixed wing patient care, and that's what I had wanted to do.
Would you then commute?
Yes, I did.
Right. Same thing with St. Luke's?
Correct.
Okay. The next thing in my notes is I have is that you and Amy both did volunteer work for the Earlville Fire Department.
Yes, we did.
When did that begin, approximately?
I probably started that in, I can't even tell you for sure, 2008, 2009.
Was Amy still working at Manchester Hospital then?
Yes.
You indicated that you met Todd through Amy and that you didn't have a lot of contact with him, at least directly.
No, not socially. Amy usually did things on her own.
You described him as being very passionate about his farming.
Yes, he is.
And his farm equipment.
Then, about 5 years ago, 2013 plus or minus, in a golf outing, she tells you that she's had an affair.
Yes, she did.
Talk about a hole in one.
And your reaction to that was to try to guide both Amy and Todd into some counseling to preserve the marriage.
I did.
And they took your advice. They went to counseling together, right?
They did.
You commented that it seemed that, though, that after this revelation that she had had this affair, that Todd seemed to have a hard time getting over it. Is that right?
Correct.
And that he was more wanting to know where she was at, who she was at, that kind of thing.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you know, did either of them ever share with you what the counselors were suggesting that they do in terms of repairing this relationship?
No.
So you don't know that the counselor was telling both of them that Amy had to be accountable to Todd because of her infidelity?
Yes, she did say that, yes. And I do believe Todd told me that too.
Okay. From that time in 2000, let's say 2013, when you learned of that affair, and I'm not saying that's exactly right, but from that point up until 2018, last summer, how much contact were you having with Amy during that period of time?
I saw her on ambulance calls. I saw her at fundraisers. We went to lunch together quite often. We golfed on a league.
And this was during this period of time, Amy had left her employment at the Manchester Hospital.
She did.
So she was a full-time, stay-at-home mom, farmer.
Yes, she was.
Did you have much direct contact with Todd during those years?
No. Occasionally, if I stopped at the farm to pick up eggs or something like that, I did, but he was always very, very busy, so you didn't see Todd often.
When you said that, if my notes are correct, you said that in the summer of 2018, Todd contacted you and said that Amy's acting strangely, and mentioned these text messages.
Yes, he did.
At that time, did you know about Amy's affair with Jerry?
No, I did not.
And your reaction was, you guys need to talk.
Yes. I did tell him I felt like it was odd behavior and that he needed to talk to her about it and ask her about it.
When did you know for sure, and I guess what I'm asking you is, when did Amy tell you about the second affair with Jerry?
It would have been after the first text where she said that she was in trouble.
So I hope this doesn't get real confusing, but I want to kind of talk about some of these text messages that were in that exhibit that the state was showing you, okay?
Okay?
And just so I can kind of find my place, there's a message on Thursday, July 26th, that started out, looks like on a completely unrelated subject, but then she says, "Can you talk? I'm in trouble."
Yes,
That's what the one you're talking about.
correct,
So we're talking July 26, 2018.
correct.
Okay. And your response, I believe, was, "Yes, I can talk anytime. Want to meet somewhere or phone?"
Correct.
By the time you texted that response, did you know that "I'm in trouble" meant she was having an affair?
I had a bad feeling.
Okay.
I did not know for certain.
But also, well, excuse me. Then on Monday, July 30th, "How are you doing?" This is you to her. "How are you doing? I know your grandma was special to you." Her grandma had passed.
Correct.
And she follows that with, "Been the longest, crappiest week of my life." We saw that on the screen.
Correct.
Was the longest, crappiest week of my life due to the death of her grandmother?
I believe it was both things combined, the death of her grandmother and the stress over having the affair.
Because she goes on in that crappiest week of my life message to talk about Todd.
Correct.
And you seem to be responding that it sounds like you're having doubts of whether or not Jerry's going to really follow through and have a life with her.
I did.
Because you ask her, "Are you 100% certain he's going to do it?"
I did.
And her response was, "I'm 99% sure."
Yes, she did.
During that time here up until July 30th, were you having any text messages or phone conversations with Todd?
I would have to look through to see exactly when I talked to Todd.
If my notes are correct, if you look to August 6th in the messages between you and Todd, do you have those up there with you?
Yes.
It's the very first page of your communication or text messages with Todd. It's right after the photo she sent you of her IV site.
Okay. And what are you referring to?
Does that appear to be the first text communication that you'd had with Todd during the summer?
The IV, where she's showing me the IV site?
No, the next page where you're communicating with Todd.
The first one would have been in July that I talked to Todd.
A phone conversation?
I honestly do not remember if our first conversation about the 128 text messages was phone or if it was a text.
Okay, all right. There was a text message with Todd, and if you can find it, on August 16th, where he talked about doing research about premenopause. Well, it may be on the page before. I believe the date is August 16th.
Okay?
That's the message you got from Todd, right?
We lost it.
right above how are things,
Yes,
August 16.
yes,
So the next page, Todd's talking about his researching,
yes,
okay. And you respond, good for you. Keep trying.
Aw.
correct.
In your opinion, was Todd trying to understand what Amy's situation was, what her behaviors were?
You want my opinion?
Well, you told him to keep
You
trying.
seem to be giving it quite a
My
bit.
opinion was he was trying to make Amy seem like she was crazy.
Oh.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
The old Jensen.
Never said that to you.
Nope.
You continue to have text exchanges with Todd.
I did.
And I believe on August 17th, was when he contacted you about her not doing her farm work and chores and housework and so forth. You remember that?
Yes,
And that's, you responded that, get someone to watch the kids, go to the fair.
I did.
At that point, I didn't find it anywhere else in your statements that you were trying to get her caught,
I was.
but at that point, there didn't seem to be, from the text message and so forth, anything of grave concern here.
I did not want to anger Todd. I didn't want to lie to him. I wanted to give Amy time to figure out what she was doing. But on the other hand, I was very fearful for her. I had mentioned several times that she needed to tell Todd what was going on with her stepdad with her. And I felt like if he found them there would be a lot of people around.
Well, you've talked about that. Did you ever witness any inappropriate physical contact between Todd and Amy?
No.
Did you ever hear about any?
Only on one occasion when she was talking about, he was angry at her and pushed her down on the bed and had very rough sex with her.
Amazing.
Do you know when that happened?
I do not recall. It was at some time during this conversations we had been having at the end of the summer.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Let me go to a different place. You said you attended a medical conference and someone there told you that Amy was doing bad things again.
Yes,
Where was that conference at, do you remember?
Des Moines.
And it appeared from the exhibits that went up that on August 29th, you texted Amy and said, you need to give me a call.
I did.
And she responded with a text about a half hour later. I'm going to talk to Todd and ask him if he talked to anyone about calling Jerry's wife because of the text. If I tell him the rumors is there before he hears it, it may help.
That was after she had called me.
Right, you'd had a conversation.
Correct.
And then you responded, I don't know Ames, you need to talk to it,
Yes,
meaning Todd.
correct,
And she makes a comment, this is not what I needed.
correct.
So would it be fair to say that Amy's very concerned and upset that there's rumors about her having another affair?
Yes,
And did it appear, well, let me ask you this. Would it be fair to say that she is understanding from what you told her that you were at this medical conference is that these rumors were coming from the Manchester hospital?
I did not understand that they were told to me by an employee from the Manchester Hospital, yes, that I was at the conference with.
Okay. Because I think we'll learn later today that we now know that Amy called an employee at the Manchester Hospital that same day,
She did.
very upset, asking that these rumors be squelched.
Yes.
And if we look at the text messages between you and Todd on August 30th, he contacts you and said that Amy did talk to him.
Yes.
Said she was upset, cried a lot. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then goes on to say, on a good note, most of today was a good day.
He did.
We joked a little.
Yes, I think Amy felt like she was in the clear for a while.
So Todd's reaction to Amy telling him that there's new rumors about her having another affair is that they had a good day and they joked a little. I'm just asking, isn't that what the messages say?
That's what my messages say, yes.
Okay. And you once again, you encourage them to get some counseling.
I did.
That'll help.
And his response on that same day, the only way to get her there is to drag her there. I told her weeks ago that she had the problem, so I should go because I become a super dad, in her words, and the kids come to me first, and she gets mad so fast. She's very different at home. Just ask the kids.
Correct. I did not see any of that from her.
Damn it.
On September 1st, you and Amy text, started out with you saying, "How is it going?" She said, "Okay, at the water park with kids, Todd and I have talked. He knows the word is out there. Not sure what's going to happen next. Guess time will tell."
Correct.
And there continues to be some messages between you and her about her struggling with, should I stick it out, make the marriage work, should I leave, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And I think, and I'll summarize perhaps, that the content there in those messages is you were encouraging to do this on your own. Don't depend on Jerry or anybody else. Make your own decision.
Yes, I did. Can I make something clear?
No.
Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is your birthday. He wants to ask her out.
I'm going to jump backwards a little bit. It looks like on August 22nd, you were having some email exchanges, or text message, I should say, text message exchanges with Amy. She's talking about lunch. this would have been right after the state fair, right? August 22nd?
Correct.
Had Amy shared with you that she was disappointed because her and Jerry weren't able to hook up the way they wanted?
Yes, she did.
And at 9:06 on August 22nd, she says, after lunch, I'm going to meet Jerry. We had a little setback and we need to meet for some makeup sex.
Yes, she did.
And then the lunch plans continued.
Correct.
Reach around.
Next day, the 23rd, thanks for the chat. Missed that. If Todd happens to ask, I'll be calling him. We chatted till 1 o'clock. But I doubt he'll text you. Don't wait so long for our next lunch. Did it appear that she was using you as a cover for meeting Jerry?
That time it did, but I did not answer her that yes, I would cover for her. I just dropped that subject because I did not want her to feel like I would enable her in that situation. I was there to support her, not judge her, but not enable her.
And it looks like that same day, Todd was texting you, and he seemed very appreciative that she was having lunch with you, and she seemed to enjoy that and make her feel better.
Yep.
During the months of September and October, how much contact were you having with Amy?
It varied. During the fair, maybe not quite as much.
It was a throuple.
Occasionally, pretty much it was either we would go to lunch or text once in a while on the phone.
Well, this was in September and October. This was after the medical conference, and rumors are flying, and Amy talked to Todd, Todd texted you, and so forth, right?
Correct.
All that was around August 28th, 9th, September 1, right in that condensed time, right?
It's just confusing because I was at two separate conferences real close together there.
Okay. But after that flurry of activity and exchanges, in September and October, you said your contacts with Amy kind of trailed off?
They weren't as frequent. We still communicated, we still went out to lunch, but it wasn't quite as often.
And if I understand some of the other testimony in the trial, this was a time period when Amy's uncle suffered a brain bleed,
Yes, he did.
and he was in very critical condition in the hospital, and then later transferred to a rehabilitation center in Des Moines called On With Life.
Yes.
Were you and Amy exchanging her concerns and her attention to that matter as that went on?
We did talk about her uncle, yes.
Do you know if that situation with her uncle led her to spend some time traveling back and forth to wherever he was being hospitalized?
I believe she stayed down there for several days with her uncle so her mom could have some relief from sitting with him. He was getting up and falling, so they needed a sitter with him to make sure he didn't get hurt.
During September and October, did you have much contact with Todd at all?
No.
Did you know enough about the farm life that this was quickly moving into harvest season for him?
Yes.
Did Amy talk about that?
No.
While this thing with her uncle was going on, his health concerns, was Amy sharing anything with you about her either continued or discontinued relationship with Jared?
We did not talk about that relationship quite as much then. I was trying to let her work it out in her own mind, what she was going to do. I didn't know what she was thinking she was going to do or choose. I know she was very concerned about her children.
I'm not going to try to hunt for it right now, but I believe there was some message between you and her at some point where she talked about him being the super dad all of a sudden,
Yes.
and that there was some hope that, or comment by you perhaps, that maybe he could continue to be.
I did. Because she was trying to decide at that time if she would stay there because of the children or if she wanted to leave. And I said maybe Todd would, be the person she wanted or needed him to be.
You said that after the revelation of the first affair, that it seemed that, or there were indications anyway, that Todd was very controlling and suspicious or wanting to know where she was at and so forth.
Yes.
Was that continuing in last year, in July, August, September?
That continued the whole time after the affair. The first affair.
All the way from 5 years ago up and through?
Yes.
Did Amy ever say that she was limited in having money to buy things, shop?
Yes, she did.
Would you be surprised that she had an unlimited access to a Cabela's credit card?
Oh, damn.
I don't believe she went up to Cabela's very often.
Walmart?
I do believe that most of her and the
Bella's.
children's clothing were Walmart and Goodwill
Did you ever go to Goodwill with her?
a couple times.
Next, you're going to tell me she has a Bass Pro credit card. Rawr.
Do you know,
Oh, for fuck's sakes, I'll change it, guys.
at
Hold
least
on.
from the spring of 2018 until the time of her death, you said that this controlling, knowing where she was at all the time, that continued.
That did continue.
Do you know, can you explain how she would manage to have arranged to have sex with Jerry at least 100 times, according to him?
Whoa!
I did ask Amy where they were meeting because I didn't know, and she said that things would take place at another hog facility that was being built near them or at their own
Take place at a hog facility? Is that what they called having sex?
facility. She did say that at one point someone came to
I would
facility,
hope.
the newly built one, when she was there with Jerry. So from what I understood from her, they weren't meeting in hotels or houses or anything. They were meeting on the farms near her home.
Okay. So you were in nature with the hogs. All right. That's one way to do it.
But according to Jerry, they were meeting at hotels sometimes.
I did not know that from Amy.
So she wasn't being scrutinized 24/7 by Todd, I mean.
I would
A dirty
imagine it would
woman.
be very hard with his, how hard he works.
I'll say.
You mentioned that Amy had texted and talked to you directly about Todd contacting Jerry's wife.
Yes.
Excuse me while I
You know
whip
that
this
he
out.
contacted Jerry also.
Yes.
Did Amy share with you what her understanding of Jerry's response to Todd's inquiry was?
She said that Jerry denied the relationship and that they were just friends.
Jesus, Mavka.
Did she have a comment about if she knew how Jerry's wife had responded?
She said that Jerry's wife responded that she felt like their marriage was solid. After the first conversation with Todd, after the second conversation, Amy said that she thought, Jerry's wife thought Todd was crazy and blocked him from Facebook.
Aw.
Okay. Do you know for sure if Todd ever was on Facebook?
I don't know what Todd looked at.
Okay. I believe it was in mid-October, that's when Amy was very upset about her, I'll call it a run-in with Todd's mother.
Correct.
Did Amy tell you that it seemed like she appreciated that Todd had stuck up for her in that situation?
She did not feel that way as far as when she talked to me due to the text he had sent Tristan.
But Todd did not defend his mother the way she had treated her.
That I don't know.
Okay. So I guess just to summarize here that we had affair number one, you played an integral role in getting them into counseling and preserving the marriage. That would be a pretty fair assessment, right?
That's fair.
And then near the end of August, which you knew there was another affair already occurring, it appeared that the cat might be out of the bag, that rumors were out there that she was having another affair.
Correct.
You talked to her, she says, I'm telling Todd, and she did.
She told him about the rumors.
Right. Oh, right. I didn't want to misstate that. But Todd's reaction is, we've talked about it, just nothing really happened after that, right?
I'm not sure of the timeline, but I believe that's maybe when he talked to Jerry or Jerry's wife again. I'm not sure, I think.
But your contacts with Amy kind of lessened. You'd still have lunch or talks or text messages and so forth.
I distanced myself a little bit because I didn't want to be put in that position. I felt like I wanted Amy to talk to Todd about what was going on, and I didn't want to have.
Oh. You're up.
Why is Becky Hill still on the stand?
I didn't know you were up. Well, I hadn't heard from you.
I've been busy. It's a cyclone coming.
That's what they all say.
A cyclone's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have to bring everything in. We have to do
What
all
everybody
the
says when I try to talk
There's a-
to them.
There's a cyclone coming.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
Scared.
Aw. Well, I do have some news
What?
on the Maria Scheidster.
Oh, what about her?
Jury's been picked. Opening statements
Alright.
happened today.
Oh, really?
They're streaming it after the day ends.
Oh, really?
So it just came out an hour ago.
Really? So I could go pick out the best bits and make a little video or something.
You could?
I could do that.
Because you'll be able to kind of cover it first or however you want to
Well,
do it.
no one else is doing it.
No, there's one person, but she's
Really?
she's guilty. Why is there even a trial?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I know. Her lawyer's an idiot. Well, I agree with her there.
Well, her lawyer is a bit of an idiot,
Yeah.
but
they aren't
mean-
wrong there.
no, that's true. Clovis. But he's doing all he can.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's got a kind of crap case to work with, but you know, like I'm not going to go down that line.
Mavka and David might go tomorrow.
Oh, KLF. I know who you're talking about.
Who?
KLF just said the other Aussie's doing it. I know, and we're not talking about Melbourne Aussie. We're talking about the other one, the one that thought that Zach was guilty.
Oh,
Oh,
there was another Aussie?
you know who we're talking about. She gets like 3 viewers.
Oh, Elsie.
Yeah. No. No, not Peen. Peen wouldn't do it. Peen's great. Love Peen.
Oh, Aussie Overlord.
No,
I'm kidding.
stop
I'm kidding. Okay, just tell me the name in private chat.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just something for you to think about there. Not that you have anything else going on.
I have a few things going on, like a cyclone coming.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
God damn it, Africa.
Well, it's true. It's just got to be brown. That's all.
Justin, God damn it. God damn, don't pull it up.
It's Overland. It's all right. I know Overland. Yeah, he gets about 4 or 5. That's true.
Yeah, Casey's still in 2017 minutes.
Oh yeah, we're caseying.
Rawr. Okay, well let's what do we got left here? Oh, we only got 2 minutes.
So yeah, what's Becky Hill still doing on stand? What's going on?
She went for like 90 minutes. This is cross now.
Jesus Christ, she's the town hall.
Yeah. But apparently the victim had sex with a hog farmer for over 100 times. But they mostly did it not in hotels or like their house because, you know, that's classy. They just kind of did it around farms, local farms.
Okay.
So they did it like on the hay and stuff.
But she spoke to like the butcher who spoke to his tennis partner, who spoke to the cat, who
Yeah.
spoke to the cat's owner, who is a neighbor of
Absolutely.
the dude who was rooting her, and that's
Yep.
how she knows. Right.
Yeah.
No objection to that at all.
Yeah. So the hog
Yeah.
farmer was doing a little truffle diving.
Truffle diving, yeah. And the neighbor's cat was viewing the truffle diving,
Of course.
and yeah,
Judging.
and judging.
Have to be, or didn't feel like it was my place to be the one to tell Todd what was
I'm
happening.
sure not.
But I felt like I was very uncomfortable, maybe not lying to him, but that's why I always deflected his questions, because I didn't want to come out and Amy needed time to figure out what she was doing with her life.
Did Amy tell you that after the end of August, 1st of September, when this rumor issue arose, that this Jerry Frazier continued to be a farm management person for their hog operation?
Yes, he did.
So that business relationship between Jerry and the Mullis farm didn't change?
No, she was very concerned that his place of employment would find out and that he would be fired. So she was very concerned about that.
Well, it would be fair to assume, wouldn't it, that Todd didn't say, I don't want anything to do with you, or I'm suspicious of you, or I'm going to call your employer. None of that ever happened.
I'll let her answer to her knowledge. Go ahead.
To my knowledge, he did not call Jerry's place of employment.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That's all the questions I have.
Redirect.
Terry, I just have one question for you. Okay. The defense attorney just asked you about those conversations that you initially had with Todd about the rumors. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And that initially he said that they talked about the rumors, and then Todd said it seemed like today was a good day.
Yes.
And then I'm going to put up here on the screen from Group Exhibit 66. There was some additional text messages after that where you're again talking about those rumors.
Yes.
And in fact, at the top, Todd writes, she told me Spencer told you Doug said that.
Yes.
And that's referring to the people that told you about those rumors.
Yes, correct.
Todd then says, so are rumors bad? And you respond, yes, it doesn't really matter who said it. Weird, they are out there.
Yes.
And then Todd responds, either weird or true, and everyone is lying to me.
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Firehelm, anything else for her? No, thank you. Okay, thank you, ma'am. You can step down.
Okay.
Why, Franz, who are you today? You
Bye,
Jabba the
Franz.
Hutt? Hang on. What?
Sorry.
I think that is that Jabba the Hutt? What is that photo?
So,
Help me out, Dali, what's that photo?
oh, I think it's a picture of you. Just kidding. Sorry. I deserve that so much. Sorry.
I don't care what he says now.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it is Jabba the Hutt.
Sorry, someone's talking.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I deserve.
Yeah.
Apologize
He's an
here.
ass.
I'm trying to apologize. I deserved that.
You
Sorry.
deserve so much more.
I'm sorry.
Ella is, yeah, I'm giga skinny and fucking prettier than you.
The rat?
Okay, excuse me.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Given this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you.
State your name and spell it for the record, please.
Kelly, Kelly, Cruz, Kruse.
Go ahead, counsel.
Thank you. Ms. Cruz, what is your present title?
I am a forensic pathologist at the Iowa Office of the State Medical Examiner.
And Dr. Cruz, where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Diego, California.
And you indicated what your title is. Would that be fair to say that you're a doctor?
Yes.
And what are you a doctor of?
I'm a doctor of forensic pathology.
And where did you go to school?
Apology.
I went to undergraduate school at Tulane University.
Oh
It's
my
in New
God.
Orleans, and I majored in anthropology. And I went to medical school at St. George's University. It's in Grenada, West Indies.
And did you complete a fellowship or residency?
I did. I did an anatomic and clinical pathology residency at St. Barnabas Medical Center, which is in Livingston, New Jersey. And I did a forensic pathology fellowship afterward at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner of Maryland, which is in Baltimore, Maryland.
So who are you currently employed by?
By the Iowa Office of the State Medical Examiner.
And where is your
Did you know, guys, she actually worked at a coffee place before she got this job as a medical examiner? I don't know. I found a video of her, actually. Here.
What can I get you?
I'd like a large coffee.
Okay, so hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Okay, room for cream.
Totally leave room for cream.
Why are you talking like that?
Why are you talking like that?
Because this is my voice?
This is my voice.
No, it's not. I heard you talking a minute ago. I know you don't talk like that.
Neither do you, because nobody actually
Sit down.
talks like this. You
This is
choose
totally
to talk
her.
like this, and today I chose to talk like this. Pretty fucking annoying, isn't it?
Why are you so rude, man?
Just stop doing that.
I can't help it. This is my voice.
No, it's not. It's an affectation
Oh,
that
I love
annoying
this so much.
teenagers and rich people use to sound like they don't give a shit. Except you work in a coffee shop, so I know you're not rich, and you don't look like a teenager. Unless you're Eunice Kennedy Shriver, knock it off.
So just because I talk like this means I don't give a shit?
Oh, sorry. I just thought of that.
Your office located?
It's located in Ankeny, Iowa.
And what is your
Iowa.
actual specialty?
My actual specialty is forensic pathology, which is a subspecialty of pathology.
What is pathology?
Pathology is a subset of medicine where we study injury and disease processes and how those affect the human body.
And how long have you been employed where you're currently employed?
I've been at the state medical examiner since July 2018.
And you are licensed to practice medicine?
Correct.
And in what states are you licensed?
In Iowa.
Iowa.
And are you a board certified forensic pathologist?
I am. I'm board certified in anatomic, clinical, and forensic pathology.
I know you told us
Oh my God. Poor Iowa. Just imagine going to Iowa thinking you've escaped everything California. And yeah, you hook up, you match with this cute girl on Tinder, and then you go on the first date, and she's like, "Hi, so nice to meet you. Like, totally. Like, gag me with a spoon."
what pathology is. What's forensic pathology?
So forensic pathology specifically looks at autopsies and how we use
Autopsy.
autopsies to determine cause and manner of death.
Cause.
Approximately how many autopsies have you performed in your career?
As of today, I performed 606 autopsies.
606
Doctor, what is an
autopsies.
An autopsy is a post-mortem examination of a deceased individual where we collect evidence, identify any injury, as well as disease processes that could lead to someone's death. And from that, we determine the cause of death and the manner of death.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that Dr. Cruz be qualified as an expert in the area of forensic pathology.
Mr. Firehelm? No, Judge. Okay, granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Dr. Cruz, do you, we're going to talk about an autopsy that you performed on Amy Mutlis. And did you generate a report regarding that autopsy?
I did.
And would that report aid you in your testimony today?
Yes, it would.
Your Honor, I would ask that Dr. Cruz be allowed to refer to her report if she need to.
That's fine, you can.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Cruz, you explained to us what an autopsy is, and can you explain to us how you actually perform an autopsy?
Sure. So first, the deceased person is brought into our office and we weigh them and we measure them in length. Then they're brought into the autopsy suite and we look and see if they have any clothing. If they do have clothing, we document that clothing, we take photographs, and then we remove the clothing. Once the clothing's removed, we look for any evidence of medical therapy. If they had any tubes in their mouth or any vascular catheters, we document those and then we
catheters.
remove those as well. Once all the extra things that are on the body have been removed, then we start our external examination. Here we go top to bottom, and we're looking for any sort of defining characteristics such as hair color, hair length, eye color. We look to see if the person has any tattoos, if they've had any surgeries and have subsequent scars. Then we also look for any evidence of injury. We document the injury, we take photographs. Once we're done with that external examination, we start our internal examination. So we perform a surgical Y-shaped incision, which is in the chest and the abdomen, and we reflect back the skin. That way we can look at the internal organs. Once we can see all the internal organs, we take each organ out one by one, we weigh each organ, and then we look for any evidence of injury or disease in those organs themselves. We also remove the brain as well. During the internal examination, we'll usually take fluids. We'll take blood, we'll take vitreous fluid from the eye, we'll take urine if it's available, and we'll send that for toxicology testing.
Dr. Cruz, did you perform an autopsy on Amy Mullis.
I did.
And was that performed on November 12th, 2018?
It was.
Where was it performed?
It was performed at the Iowa office of the State Medical Examiner in Ankeny, Iowa.
Who was present for the autopsy that you performed?
So Travis Seemasath with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office was present at the autopsy, as well as 4 autopsy technicians who are employed by our office to assist with the autopsy process.
And how, if you can just briefly describe, how is the body brought to your facility for that autopsy?
So for each county, we service most of the counties in Iowa. Each county uses a different method to transport the body to our office. Some use funeral homes, some use ambulances.
Do you like
I'm
her
not sure
voice?
exactly in this case which one
No.
was used.
But it would have been one of
Very,
those
very
ways.
annoying.
Exactly.
And prior to performing this autopsy, what information did you have?
So when an autopsy is called into our office, we'll get a little snippet of what kind of case it is. So I
Shut up.
I think I found a new person to imitate for Valley Girl.
God. Like, she'd be fine if she just shut up.
I know. God, it's like, could you just snip her vocal cords like a yappy dog and she'd be perfect?
Like, if she were a mute, she'd be fine.
Yeah, she'd be a 10.
9. But yeah.
In Iowa, 10.
Like, she's hot. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. Jeez, girl.
She doesn't. Like, she doesn't have an Iowa accent though. She's not from there.
No, she said she's from California.
Oh, of course she's from California.
Poor Iowa.
Wow.
No.
She's from California. That's the worst eye makeup ever. Like, why is she wearing shadowy eye makeup? Girl, like, she doesn't need that much makeup.
She reminds me of Legal Bites.
Yes, you're right. Oh dear. Like, maybe we'll just leave her on pause.
At least she doesn't. At least Melita doesn't talk like this.
I really never watched her, to be honest.
Really?
No, I can't. Like, ages ago, but I can't even remember how she talks.
I don't really remember her voice except that it wasn't annoying. So
Yeah. Look, just blank. Like,
Yeah.
just nothing. Yeah. She left no impression on me
yeah.
at all.
Except
Zero.
she doesn't like people making faces in court. That's all I remember.
Look, neither do I. Not that specific person, anyway. I got to agree with her on that.
I mean,
Gotta
she
agree
was
with
she
that.
was kind of ahead of the curve on that one.
She was ahead of the curve on that one. I got to give her that.
We kind of underestimated her. It
Yeah,
backfired.
like she was right on that one. She
Yeah.
was definitely right. That was a cock move. You
Yeah.
know, in fact, it looked like someone sucking a cock.
Well, he's got plenty of experience in Florida.
Yep. By the way, did you see he's actually changed the name of his channel
To what?
to? It's actually got the words "buckle up" in it.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Like, what a fucking tool.
Plus.
Like, yeah. Plus, buckle up. Like, whose dick is he sucking? I wonder.
Well, we can all speculate.
Of course he did. Yeah, of course he did. Because you know how I know that, right? Because I'm not subscribed.
Oh.
Because he was in Lawyer You Know's chat, and he commented. Yeah, he chatted, and Lawyer You Know brought up his chat, and the chat said, "DUI guy plus, buckle up." Not fucking kidding. Right? And it's like, are you serious?
Well, that's good. I mean, he's expanding his practice from, DUI to ambulance chasing accidents. Class, yeah.
To harassing old people.
Yeah, buckle up while drunk driving. It's the law.
I gotta go again. Bye.
What? I'm so confused now. Oh my God, Hella, relax. I don't know what she's got going on, but okay. We'll play for another minute and I'll redirect y'all over to Hella. We're gonna be she's gonna be streaming about the wonderful maybe perhaps misunderstood Cassie Anthony. Yes, she's back and better than ever, and she is going to be taking on causes like LGBTQIA plus SSIA and women's rights. She believes in a late term abortion. Yes, our bae is back. Well, Maddie, Larry also had to kind of put a bounty out for meeting somebody. But anyways.
I did know that a woman was coming in who had reportedly been impaled with a corn rake. Also, prior to the examination, I talked to Dr. Thompson. He is a county medical examiner. Each county has their own medical examiner who's not a forensic pathologist like me. They can be an emergency medicine physician or a family practice physician. They'll triage cases and do examinations for us out in the field and aid us with our process. So I spoke to Dr. Thompson, and he also informed me there was a woman who had been impaled with a rake, and he expressed concern for the amount of injuries. She showed both blunt force injuries as well as 6 puncture wounds on her back when the corn
How do you
rake
get
had
6
4 times
puncture
in
wounds
it.
from a rake with
No,
4 prongs?
Well, they supposedly did it twice.
But that would make 8.
Unless only 2 of the prawns went back in, or maybe only 3 prawns and then 3 prawns.
But how do you?
Or 1 prawn and 5 prawns.
But how do you separate them? They're together.
I know, and they're all over the place as well. So maybe just
I
1
know.
prawn 6 times.
This is just a prong anomaly. A prongomaly.
None of it makes sense. In
None of it
any
makes
way.
sense. Anyway, I gotta go.
Okay.
Okay, see you soon.
They're hard metal.
Yeah, I don't know corn rakes, right? But like,
Right.
for that to work, they'd all need to like.
Be flexible, and they're not.
Yeah.
So
Makes no sense.
unless her body could twist in a weird way.
No,
I mean,
not to that degree. I reckon it wasn't a corn rake at all. I reckon they some sort of other thing was like boop, 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 boop. Stabby
Maybe.
stab. Nothing to do with it. And then the corn rake was planted.
oh, yes.
Yes.
We solved it.
I solved it.
Damn it. Maybe it was
bye.
an ice pick. All right, bye. Okay, I'm going to make sure we got redirect going over. And I'll have to be on my best behavior not to piss off anyone in regards to the lovely Cassie Anthony. Aw, Maddie, you did it. You're over 30,000. There's Jerry in the field with a pen. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for Fleischer. And I am going to send you over to Hellas for the Cassie Anthony stream. So I shall see you guys there. Godspeed. You metal.